Picture this. The year is 0. Actually, the year is 4 years before the year 0. The message comes down to Joseph and Mary and all the people of Judea and Galilee. They've got to go to their hometown to register. You know, it was a bad year before that, and this only made it worse. People were frustrated. They were discouraged. They were depressed. They were an occupied nation. Roman soldiers were all over the place. It was, in the minds of many people, the worst year ever. In the midst of such a terrible year, when all seemed lost, I'm going to share with you one of my favorite theological words now. Nevertheless, God chose to act in a new and powerful and incredible way by actually taking on human flesh. In the midst of these terrible times, nevertheless, God was present. And God got people through. And He gave them hope, and He gave them peace in the midst of what they were facing. And He helped them to get to better days. The year 2020 will soon come to a close. It has been a challenging year. We've had to develop all sorts of resourcefulness and creativity. We've learned a lot. Have you learned some new things this year? I'll bet you have. I know I have. We all learned early on how to do things like turn on a light switch with an elbow, turn on a faucet with an elbow. We all learned how to do things like wear masks. We learned, those of us who have glasses, that we can wear a mask and glasses as long as we wear our glasses like that. I've learned so many things. I've learned that when there's a run on toilet paper in the stores and the supply at home is getting low, you can take the 2-ply paper and pull it apart, and now you got 2 1-plies. You just doubled your toilet paper at home. Those are things I've learned. I have learned you can be at Costco walking through the store, and of course, you're not supposed to be eating in there these days. You're supposed to be wearing that mask. I've learned you can sneak a piece of cheese pizza under your mask, and your mask will smell like cheese pizza for the next 2 weeks. I've learned that. I've learned a lot of other things too. I've learned a lot of things about kindness, and generosity, and sharing, and interdependence, and so have you. But it has been a difficult year. Now, I know recently it's just sort of dawned on me. I just have been feeling kind of lethargic, and then I felt guilty about that. Like others are going through so much harder times than I am. And then I got Time magazine in the mail a couple of weeks ago, and it had this cover on it. It said, 2020, the worst year ever. There's not a question mark there. This has been a terrible year. If you're feeling lethargic, discouraged, depressed, forgive yourself. It's a normal reaction to this year we are in. It's a year where we, at times, have felt like just chucking it all and giving up. What a year. COVID-19 has caused so much pain, so much sadness, so much brokenness around the world. People have lost their lives and lost their loved ones. People have become sick. People have lost their jobs. Many are on the verge of being evicted from their homes. This is a terrible year coming to a close. It's not even all about COVID-19. Some of you have had to deal with other kinds of sickness and other kinds of loss and lost loved ones to other causes of death. This was the year of George Floyd And it felt like maybe, finally, our nation will start reckoning with its long history of systemic racism. What a painful year. This was a year where our nation received the lowest number of refugees in its entire history, not because of COVID-19, but because of xenophobia, fear of strangers. This is a year where our president still has yet to come to terms with losing an election and is doing everything he can to destroy this system upon which our nation is built. What a terrible year. What a terrible year. It might feel like it's not going to get better, or it's not going to get as good as we hope it would be. Here comes his word again. Nevertheless, in the midst of our lowest, darkest time, God comes again. And God keeps coming over and over and over again. This is a God who looks at whatever we're going through and says, nevertheless, in the midst of it, I am with you, and I will get you through it. Isn't it a sign of God's power and presence that people around the world this night and tomorrow, time zone after time zone, will be saying to one another, Merry Christmas, and Jesus Christ is born. This God that we follow is not giving up on us, no matter how bad things get. This God says, nevertheless, I am here. I will be with you. It is tempting to, in hard times, to do things like turn in on ourselves. But this God not only will get us through, but will help us to become even more kind and even more generous, even more aware of others in their time of need. This God looks at what's going on around, and the tendency that many have to hold on to what they have and not let go of it for fear they will run out. This God says, nevertheless, I want my people to live with open hands, to share what they have, and to reach out their hand, because someone needs to have their hand held by you. I hope whatever you are going through now, and I know some of you are going through about as dark of a time as possible, I am praying that this God will be with you tonight and tomorrow and the day after in such a powerful way, and will give you the gift of peace, and will say, no matter what you're facing, nevertheless, I am with you. Nevertheless, I'm sending my people to be with you. Nevertheless, I'm sending my people out into the world to share the gift of peace that Jesus brings. May that peace be yours in abundance.